Welcome back, boys, to the Bottom Six podcast. We got another one for you. A monthly review after the season's already started. We got some good hockey going on, some interesting stories, and well, I guess the biggest story is going on is with the Chicago Blackhawks and their recent news where their investigation was completed with the sexual abuse allegations of Kyle Beach. Everything's been revealed with that, and if anything, I'm sure the viewers that are watching have already heard about it, have already learned as much as they probably want to know about it. But we are going to cover it, just to kind of get over that hump. I personally felt embarrassed, I guess, as a hockey fan, reading everything that was going on. You grow up in the sport, you love it. It's something that you really cherish and you hold close to yourself, and then you see this organization like the NHL and the Chicago Blackhawks, like a respected organization, or what it should be, a respected organization, like a league that I look up to. And then you see something like this come out where it's so disgusting to the point where it's like I actually felt, emotionally upset, like to the point of like almost crying. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is not actually happening. And that's kind of how distressing it was for me. And even I know I was talking to you guys mentioning it was Kyle Beach, and I was like, I remember hearing about him. I remember him being a big deal in the draft, and I always wondered what happened to him. And I think this story really illustrates that this situation and event essentially derailed his career, because I think he could have still been an NHLer, but when you go through an event like this, obviously it was traumatic enough that he never really made the big league. And he's still playing professional hockey, I believe, in Germany now, but he never really achieved the potential he was supposed to.
I think he's done this year.
Okay, so I guess with maybe this whole case coming out, obviously his time's going to be more occupied with this than hockey. But really, I think my main takeaway at the end of the day is, like I said, as I was about it, what I'm hoping and what it sounds like even Kyle Beach is working towards is some type of positive change out of this. And I fully agree with that, where now that the story's out, everyone knows what's going on. I think now it's like, okay, we can finally work towards improving the system we have. The NHLPA obviously needs to figure its shit out, because they woefully fucked up on this. All the people, I think more of the executives should have been fired, but it is what it is. At least some of them were removed. Quenville and Stan Bowman. They were both resigned. Obviously there were
which is kind of. I do and I don't agree with them being able to step down. I feel like they should have been let go to, kind of set an example to the NHL and other leagues. Like, you can't be putting, humans' sanity and safety and all that forward, or putting that in the background when Stanley Cup's on the line. Like, you can't be just... Shit, where am I going?
Really just the treatment of the player itself. And there's other cases like this that have happened that just probably weren't revealed, or other similar situations. And it's just, the players are almost looked at as just like a stock, like an asset. It's not a human being to some of these teams and managers, right? Like, they're just some type of asset to be managed and dictated.
Yeah, like they just pushed him to the background, kind of like, all right, we're going to focus on the cup and then we'll figure your shit out. Like, it was no big deal. So everyone that was involved in that meeting should have been fired and not had the chance to step down. Like, and then the NHL could have taken it a step farther, and all they did was fine the Blackhawks $2 million, which, in recent years, there's been teams that have done way less extreme things and been fined more money. And then Bettman said in an interview yesterday, I think he said different time, different circumstances kind of thing. Like, what are you even going on about, Bettman? Like, this guy's a fucking just big of a joke as the Blackhawks organizations. Like, it's time we get Bettman out of the league and we fucking get someone in there that actually wants to see a positive change and, maybe would have dealt with this a little bit harsher, in my opinion. I don't think what they did to Chicago was enough to set an example, or even to, give Kyle some restitution.
That's a fair point, but at the same time, it's like, being that it's been so long ago to this point, it's like, regardless of whatever they would have done, they're like, nothing's going to be served right at the end of the day. It's like, no punishment enough is just to justify the actions that were taken on the part of the team.
Yeah, because how can you really how can you really put like
Yeah.
a standard on what's the punishment for that? I guess.
I mean, I agree with Trevor. It's like I feel like nothing is really going to satisfy the situation, but I also do agree with Tyler in the sense that there probably is more that they could have done. Like they could have taken a bit more of a staunch stance on the whole situation. Like again, I was kind of thinking like that they would come out and be like, okay, we're going to set up this new, helpline or other like avenue that players can maybe anonymously talk about this, where it's not somebody in the organization like some. It's supposed to be the NHLPA, but obviously they need something else, or they need to reform that organization. But I was kind of hoping they would come out with something of like, this is our solution, so this never happens again, and have some type of open access thing that players can go and like lodge grievances within the league that maybe should be more so in the background or off the record from some people until it evolves into a situation that can be revealed. But there obviously needs to be something that's done, because I mean, even if you look at the history of the NHL, there's been countless players that have come forward with like allegations of things going on in the league. I mean, I think it was only when the mid 2000s when they were going on with the concussion and the head trauma thing, and we were having all those players committing suicide because of the mental health issues caused by concussions. Like, this just feels like another one of those situations. Obviously, maybe even more extreme, just with like all the lying and bullshit that went on with it, but it just seems like there's every 10 years there's something that happens in the NHL where it's like, what the fuck? Like, why is this being hidden? Why is the NHL taking this stance that's basically anti-player? Like, it's not helping the people that are in the league. Like, don't you want to take... These are your employees that are essentially... Like, if you don't have these hockey players, you don't have an NHL, right? You need to take care of them.
The NHL is no different than any other corporate America fucking company. The NHL is in it to make money. They're not in it to help people. None of that shit. Everybody behind the scenes in the NHL, they're there to make their fucking pockets fatter, and that's why shit like this doesn't get dealt with. Chicago won a cup, lots of good TV media deals, lots of merchandise, all that stuff. Chicago's making a butt ton of money back then. That's why they pushed that to the background. If it wasn't for the NHL wanting to be about money, that would have been come forward. That would have been the first thing dealt with. Stanley Cup would have been put in the background. Just nobody cares anymore about people. It's all about money, and that's what the entire friggin' world is about too. So until people start taking a different stance on how they see other people below them, things will never change in anything. Sorry, I kind of went off topic there, guys.
No, it's fine, man. It's like the thing is we have this situation. It's like we're hearing even more reports out of Pittsburgh where either a former wife or current wife of a former AHL coach for the Penguins at the time, they're suing because the head coach at the time sexually assaulted her. It's like we have a situation where it's like it's repeat after repeat after repeat. It's like it's just all coming out now. It's like,
I think what's most ridiculous about that
addressed?
too, just since you're bringing that up, Trevor, is I'm pretty sure USA Hockey for the Olympics had Bowman as the GM. He's out now because of the resignation, and they put Bill Guerin.
They gave him a chance to step down. Well, I don't think Bill Guerin.
Isn't he?
Don't know.
I thought he was named as the replacement, and now he's under investigation too. And it's just like, what? Why?
No, I don't think it's Bill Guerin that's under investigation.
Bill Guerin is amongst the parties that are being put as defendants in this case.
Yeah, so he's involved in some way. Which, I mean, if I was USA Hockey, I don't know why you'd want to associate with that. Like at this point, like, why not find?
Wait, so Mario Lemieux is a defendant in this case too.
Yes.
It's basically
so Mario Lemieux could be a garbage human being, is what you're saying.
Possibly.
Is that what I'm understanding? Are you? Oh,
basically,
my God,
they're
please don't be.
It's
true.
investigating the management group that was there at the time, right? Which I believe, like, Bill Guerin is with the Wild or something now.
Yeah. He's
okay.
with the
Now
Wild
I'm understanding.
So he's with the Wild now, but he was with Pittsburgh at the time of the
Mario
what happened.
Lemieux, what have you done?
That's like if the organization is being put as defendant, it's Guerin, it's both Lemieux and Ronald Burkle, who are the co-owners for the team. Is like essentially it's like we don't know all of the information at this time, but I'm not liking the sounds of things.
It makes you wonder who was the Pittsburgh's GM that stepped down this summer. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Maybe
In
we'll
my
look it
mind
up.
as well.
Uh,
I don't know.
Let me look it up quick here,
But
because it's not. It's Ron Hex still took over.
Yeah, that's
That-
what,
I
Jim
think that was during-
Rutherford. Jim Rutherford. So what I'm wondering is, because Jim Rutherford randomly stepped down this summer. You remember that? Like
I thought that was during last season. But
It was-
regardless, yeah, it was within the last year or so. Let's
maybe
say.
it was last season. Right? It was like maybe right at the beginning. It was basically just at a very odd time that it was like, what? I don't understand why he stepped down. And what I'm wondering is if maybe he was trying to get out of the limelight because he knew an investigation like this was coming with the news of Chicago's breakout. Maybe that's just speculation. Or coincidental. I just thought it was a little strange.
yeah, that could be it. Maybe he was. Yeah, maybe it's a cover up. Maybe he was the fall guy for them.
Well, that's what I'm wondering,
also
right?
be that-
If there was something like, because it didn't seem like they were planning on firing him. He just randomly was like, "Hey, I'm resigning. I'm done." And
It's
then a
like,
year
it's
later, less than a
possible,
year later,
but
this stuff comes out.
I don't think it's right to speculate on that. 'Cause it's like, do we truly know if he was involved? We don't know. But
We'll find out,
it's
I
like-
guess, with this new
All-
investigation.
Yeah, exactly. Trevor makes a good point because all four of them could not have anything to do with it.
It is true,
And
yeah. Maybe
they're just wrongly accused. But at the end of the day, you can't take an accusation like that lightly, and you got to do your due diligence, and you got to get to the bottom of it. And if they are involved, well, then that's about all I'm going to say on that.
yeah,
right
then
now.
you go forward and you
I don't wanna
figure out
keep
a solution from
speculating.
there. But one thing actually I saw today too, since you were mentioning Bettman being fired, is Alan Walsh, I guess, has some inside information on, I guess, some of the owners in the league that are actually kind of unhappy with Bettman and I guess pushing possibly for a change. So it's maybe not out of the realm of possibilities that Bettman is no longer the NHL commissioner by the end of the season, or maybe this is his last year. Who knows? But it sounds like there's a little bit of upheaval going on in with the owners and the NHL and all that.
At the
Good.
same time, it's like, with the figure of which he is, am I really gonna take it at face value? Maybe, maybe not. It's just, there's so much going around him just in the past, let's say, year since the image of like Fleury being like stabbed in the back. It's like it was a bit dramatic, but it's like, who knows?
It got some
what
attention.
Yeah.
I mean, it got the message across. I mean, the thing is, I guess you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, who knows? Maybe he's just stirring the pot.
Wait,
but I
what
mean,
message are you talking about? This Fleury stabbed in the back? You
yeah,
got
that
message
was Alan.
across?
That was Alan Walsh. Walsh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Walsh
it worked real good for Fleury. Look where he's at now.
Yeah, well, that's the
On a
thing. I got the
dumpster
message
fire of
across.
a
Fuck
hockey
you,
team.
fuck you, Vegas. Like, so they just got rid of. That's the thing. I mean, I guess it built up his notoriety, but I think the thing is he's, an agent for a lot of players in the league, so he's obviously talking to teams and upper management people. Like, he has contacts in that industry, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has heard rumblings of, people are pissed off. I mean, is it going to amount to anything? Maybe not, because again, Bettman does make the league a lot of money, and as you said, Tyler, it's all about filling their pockets. And if Bettman's going to keep doing that, I don't see why they would kick him out. But maybe they consider this serious enough that it's just like, fuck it, we can find some other, puppet to use as our commissioner.
Yeah, we can find another guy that can milk everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
like-
right.
I'm not gonna discredit him, but it's like, I gotta take it with a grain of salt, because we'll have to see what happens. It's like, Bettman's been in the league for so long now.
Oh
It's like,
God.
it's just this gonna be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
That's more what I'm thinking is maybe he's got a little bit of bad blood, and maybe the owners are gonna maybe have a talking to him, discipline him, whatever they do in that situation. But I feel like he's just like undying as the NHL commissioner, and he's just just a vampire who's never gonna leave. He's just forever in that role for as long as we live, kind of thing. As long as the NHL exists.
And have you guys ever met somebody that actually likes Bettman?
No. I mean, nobody does. Everyone hates him. I mean, at least from a fan's perspective,
I don't
we
think
all hate
I've
him.
ever. Like, my dad said a few things about Bettman, like there was a few times where he saved the league kind of thing, but other than that, like, that's the only things I've ever heard about Bettman.
But I think that goes for most commissioners of any of the major sports leagues. It's like
Yeah.
you might have like an odd few that I was like, okay, yeah,
Well,
I don't
Goodell's
mind this
an
commissioner.
idiot, so
I thought
Goodell's
I've heard good
might
things about
be
the
the
basketball
worst.
commissioner, like the NBA one. I've heard people say a lot
I
of good
think
things
Adam
about him.
Silver is regarded in a better light than you'd say those of Gary Bettman and Roger Goodell, but there are
He's
still his critics.
he's new though, isn't he? Only been there a few years now, I think.
I think he's had a bit of a tenure now. I'm not 100% certain on that, though.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to basketball too much.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to it enough either. But I mean, at least from what I've heard,
That's why
he's
this is
good.
a hockey podcast.
Yeah, we're in the bottom six podcast. But yeah, we're stuck with the shit fucking
So
commissioner
we're
that
talking
doesn't want
7
Canadian
years for
teams.
Silver, so he has a bit of a tenure.
That's a decent amount of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
So he's getting there then. Bettman's been like 45 years.
Bettman's been 45. Yeah, fuck. Since the 80s, probably.
Feels like it. Been our whole life, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, literally. I think he's been there since the 90s at the very least.
Yeah.
It's been like, it probably has been like almost 40 years, for God's sakes.
All right, enough of Bettman. I'm sick of hearing his.
Yeah,
name.
let's move on to more fun stuff. I guess we'll do a couple of the recent signings going on.
Yeah, we got the Rangers locked up Norris Trophy winning defenseman Adam Fox, 7 years, 9.5 annually, or 9.5 average. So, what do you guys think about that one?
Well, we already know Philly wishes that he was signing that with the Flames, but you know, fuck the Flames. The Rangers are way cooler, obviously, in Adam Fox's mind.
Yo, if you gotta choose between the Flames or the Rangers, you gotta be in Calgary or New York City. I mean,
I guess that's the thing. What are you gonna pick, right? But I mean, the thing is, I think it's a fair deal. I just find it hilarious how it's like literally every big ticket name defense is just 9.5. Seems good, max term. Let's go. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, I was like every defenseman signing with like in the past like 6 months, let's say.
Yeah, it's just getting 9 to 9.5. So it's like, okay, this is standard, I guess, of what everyone's getting. Still like a decent payday for him. But I don't think he's not going to live up to it. I mean, if anything, he's probably worth more than that 9.5 by the end of the day.
and that's the new NHL is kids are coming in playing one or two good seasons, and then they're signing their huge ticket. So I mean that's what the league is now. So yeah, I'd have to agree. Say it's a pretty decent contract compared to some of the other ones that I've seen this summer. Like that Seth Jones contract's not looking so great right now.
No.
That Darnell Nurse contract looking great though. I'll tell you what, that kid's a fucking stud.
He's been doing pretty solid for my fantasy lineup. Can't complain. Glad I picked him up. I'm glad I psyched him from you, Tyler.
And now we got. I guess I'll let Alex do this.
The Morgan Riley deal. Fucking Leafer for life, boys. Let's go. Finally, we got him locked in. To be honest, I thought fucking Riley was gone this year. I thought he was getting traded. I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to afford to keep him. Especially since, as we were saying, every defense is getting 9.5 mil. I'm like, okay, this guy's getting fucking 9 million. Like, we're not affording that. So to get him at like max 8 years at 7.5, I was like, well, I'm not going to complain about that. We got him for 8 years. We'll see if he's worth that when he's like 35 by the end of the contract. But he's getting, like, if he did take a cut, I think, because I think he on the open market, he would have at least made 8+, you'd think. Probably.
Yeah, he probably would have made more on the open market, but at the same time, he's been with the team for so long. It's like, he's given them that little bump, I guess.
Yeah, he's good. Well, and he's like obviously he's a Leafs fan himself, like growing up, so it makes sense. And you know, it's for me, it's nice as a fan because it's like we finally drafted somebody and fucking kept them. We didn't just trade them away like typical Leafs in the past, where it's like oh here we got Steen here, let me just move this guy off. Oh no, now he's all of a sudden having a career year with another team. Whoopsie. Or like here, let me trade Tuukka Rask away. Like, oh no, now all of a sudden he's an elite goaltender for the Boston Bruins. What do we do? So it's just like, finally, we actually kept somebody. For God's sakes, finally. Like, the Leafs organization has turned it around. Who knows if we're going to win a cup in any of those 8 years, but it makes me feel better knowing at least we are keeping a couple of our guys around now. Now we'll see if the other, I don't know, few of them stick around in the next few years or not, but hopefully the Leafs are fucking productive to give them something to.
Y'all better hope Marner and Matthews show up in the playoffs because you got 42% of your cap to sign 18 players.
Show
now.
up in the playoffs.
So,
they need to show up in the regular fucking season, bud. They
yeah,
haven't done anything.
so you better hope those $11 million contracts start doing things because it's gonna be tough to get a good team going with, $25 million to sign 18
a fucking
players.
quarter of your cap just eaten into guys that don't do anything. I mean, I know Matty's upset because he's basically banking on that Matthews, Marner, Tavares combo on his fantasy hockey team, and they've all been subpar.
I told him not to draft Leaf players, but he didn't listen.
Yeah, he just went all first 3 picks, just took them. I could the
if
thing
you
is
take
I
one, that's it's not an issue, but that's
making
you
your
drafted
whole
3
team.
or 4. That's last week his lineup had 5. It's okay, well, if you
I try to have max 2 people per team at most on my fantasy team. I don't try and load up, and I try to have them as line mates too. So if one scores, chances are someone's getting an assist.
Yeah, or something. There's some type of retaliation between the two there. But yeah, I think I did that one year where I got too many Leafs, and I learned very quickly that if the team's in a slump, you're basically losing that week if you have so many damn players on one team. It's good to diversify. And so
yes, sir.
That's the thing. I wanted one of those Leafs players, but Matt is too greedy in his Leafs fandom. All right, what we got next up? I mean, all right, Sidney Crosby back from his wrist injury. I saw stat-wise he isn't looking too hot, so obviously he's got a bit of work to do to get back to conditioning. I mean, I guess he didn't really have a training camp, so you can't blame the dude.
No, it's he's only played 1 or 2 games. He hasn't played much at all, really. But that's the main thing, really, is these guys. It's we're having a whole bunch of injury issues to start this year. Dowdy's out long term, 6 to 8 weeks of knee injury. Hughes is out long term for shoulder injury. Willie Carlson for Vegas is out with a broken foot. It's injuries are just becoming quite prominent. There's even a whole bunch of guys going on protocol and then they're off and they're on again.
The protocol too. They need that's the thing. The league should have kept the taxi squad. Honestly, with this whole COVID thing still going on, there's so many players who are getting taken out. I mean, I was already bitching to you guys. Patrick Kane was out for fucking 2 weeks, and I'm when can I put this guy in my goddamn lineup? When is this fucking protocol end?
Wasn't there a team that played last week that was short guys because a bunch of them going into COVID protocol? Weren't they? Was I imagining?
Well, Chicago was one of them. Who else? There was another. I know
the Jets had a bunch.
Year, but
there was another.
And there was a team I'm pretty sure had a bunch of AHL guys because
Pittsburgh.
A bunch of guys went into COVID.
Pittsburgh was one of them.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, and they slaughtered the Leafs.
Yeah, fucking 7-1.
Right.
It was oh, of course this happens to the Leafs. There's always got to be one of these games at the beginning of the year. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I feel the taxi squad should still be around.
Just to save teams from that. I mean, look in the Leafs. We've already lost 2 guys to waivers this year. We lost Armadio and Brooks. And it's it would be nice to have them on the taxi squad.
They're 4th-line guys for you. Come on now.
But still, if an injury happens, I would like to have the spared guy sitting on the bench.
Toronto doesn't really have many depth players, so they can't be affording to lose them.
That's what I'm saying. There is guys that the Leafs have called up now, but it's just again, I would have liked those extra 2 dudes, those 2 warm bodies that, if anything, are better than the depth players we have that we're bringing up right now.
Warm bodies.
Yeah, I need a warm body, a guy you can put on the jersey and play some goddamn minutes, right? So, especially in case of injury. So that's more what I'm kind of complaining about. I'm still kind of heard about Brooks. He was my boy. I had a good, I liked him. I had high hopes for him on the Leafs. Fucking Habs, pieces of shit, took him. But still, that's the thing. If we had the taxi squad, you could have just swapped him on there and all right, now let you. You can chill and we'll rotate out, try different lines, and if somebody gets hurt, you got a backup, right? But luckily, the Leafs aren't doing too bad health-wise. It seems. Fingers crossed.
Because even when you get sent down to the taxi squad, you gotta clear waivers, but it just allows your player to be in Canada or Edmonton's AHL team is in Bakersfield. If they get stuck at the border or something, Edmonton could be short a bunch of guys, shit like that. Toronto's And Ottawa, your team's in Canada, right?
We
Trevor?
we
Your
moved to
AHL
Belleville
team?
recently, so it's like hour and a half at most
Yeah, so
between the
like
two
you guys are
teams.
fine, and same with Montreal. They're all fine. Like if they have a bunch of guys go down, like your AHL team's right there. But Edmonton, fuck, they got guys coming in from Cali for fuck's sakes trying to get there.
What's the thing?
Get held
right?
up at the border or something, it's over.
You could be like in a city fucking completely like hours away, like a different time zone. And then, oh, all of a sudden 5 guys have tested positive for COVID. And then it's like, who do you have to call up, right? Like, if you're missing a whole fucking line on your team going into the game, right? Like,
Well, San Jose
Yeah.
lost like 6 or 7 guys like in a matter of a night because I think their game against Winnipeg got delayed the other night because it's like all of a sudden, oh hey, all these guys are having to go into protocol, including the coach. It's like, what do we gotta do?
Yeah,
yeah, well,
and like
that's a huge
the
problem.
last year and a half has been super long for these teams. Like they played 2019 into 2020. They played like what 50 games or something like that before the season got called, and then they came back late in the summer, played playdowns. Fucking some teams went the distance, played like 20 games, and then it was like a month off. They're right back, or no, they had a few months off. Then they're right into it, 56 games in whatever it was, 4 or 5 months, and then playoffs, and now they're right back into another season. Like guys are gonna start to get tired after all that. Like it's been a crammed fucking year and a half, so these guys are gonna get tired. They're gonna start to get hurt, and then you're gonna have guys in protocol. You're gonna have guys injured. You're gonna have guys constantly going up and down through waivers. Teams are gonna be losing so many guys throughout the year, probably to waivers. So it's like there's got to be something that needs to prevent this COVID protocol without having to sacrifice 8 guys on waivers to fill your team. Like they got to do something. I don't know what, but
I think that like what's gonna happen is they're gonna ignore it until a serious enough event happens that like half a team gets fucking infected, like the Vancouver situation last year.
yeah.
And then it'll be
And then
like,
they're just
oh
gonna-
fuck, okay, I guess we'll do something. Yeah, or they're just gonna cancel the games, do the postpone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's an 82 game season. Like, what are they gonna do? Cram 40 games in 55 nights? Like,
Yeah, like how the fuck? are you
Vancouver,
gonna do
like the team will be playing fucking 5 of 7 nights to get caught up. Like,
Well, I'm pretty sure Vancouver's schedule was pretty crammed to end the year last year because they had the long layoff. And it's like to think even if you get it, it's like you're still gonna be like you're not gonna be 100% after you're out of your 2 weeks. After
unless you
on the-
play the Leafs, because they came back from COVID
Oh.
protocol and played the Leafs and they kicked our ass. It was like, oh, yeah, it's another Leaf stinker as usual.
Leafs literally just lose every single thing they shouldn't.
Yeah, it's like
If it's gonna be something ugly, the Leafs are gonna do it, and that's
Basically.
just classic Leafs. Like it's not a once or twice thing now. This is literally the Leafs'
It's
last
historic.
10 years of history.
it's ingrained in
Like,
our
you're-
DNA.
Like the choke against Columbus, Boston. You had last year. You had fucking the Zamboni driver. You lost the COVID game. Like, if the Leafs are gonna embarrass themselves, they're gonna do it fucking great. They're
Just
good at
keep
it.
thinking it's great thing.
That's basically what it is. It's
Oh.
like if it's a game that they should obviously win, you can expect a big blowout loss. But if it's like this week we're playing like Vegas and Tampa and stuff, and I bet you the Leafs will just like go on a streak and be like, "Whoa, Leafs are good, they're for real," and then they'll like 2 weeks from now they'll play Arizona and they'll lose like 5-0 or some.
Yo, I got a lot of respect for you Leaf fans, to be totally honest. Because if I had to deal with your team, I might have murdered someone by now. Luckily, Edmonton has just been garbage for a very long time. So I never really had my hopes up. Whereas in Toronto, you guys are like, yo, Stanley Cup this year, am I right, boys?
Oh, yeah,
and then
it's
playoff
fucking-
comes and you're like, oh, we're gonna lose to fucking Columbus? Alright, cool. Oh, then we're gonna lose a 3-1 fucking series lead the next year to fucking Montreal, and then we're gonna watch them go on to the cup. Like, I got a lot of respect for you guys, the shit you gotta deal with. I don't have to deal with that. I get to watch McDavid play every game, and I mean this year, what do I really have to complain about?
It's a nice treat. That's the thing. We got some battle scars, man. We've been through some shit.
Ah.
But it's like, yeah, Leafs lane, it's fucking like roller coaster, up and down. Like 1 week everyone's like, fuck yeah, playing the parade. Next week it's like, shittiest fucking team ever, trade everyone, fuck Dubas, fuck Keith, fuck Shanaplan, I'm done. And it's just like there's no in between with this fan group. Like it's always one or the other. And it's usually due to that bullshit, to those games.
We were speaking on Edmonton. Why don't you talk about their hot start there, Tyler?
Oh, all right, I'll get right into that, boys. All right, so the Oilers are 7-1-0, which is the second time they've ever started 7-1 in franchise history, which is absolutely insane when you think about it, because you think about the 80s, how fucking deadly their team was, and the fact that it's the only second time ever in franchise history. So that's just insane to think about. Their power play is godly. Last time I saw it was 47.86%. I believe they are 13 for 26 on the power play.
Can I chime in too for a quick second as well? I was the past couple of games
27.
I've watched of the Oilers when they go in the power play. It's actually almost like it's humorous to me, because all they do is they hand the puck to McDavid, and then he's just like, fuck you, I'm gonna go do McDavid shit now, and like the rest of the team just watches. Like they don't even like follow him. They're just like, all right, let McDavid do his McDavid thing, and then it's like, oh, score, pass, one timer in. It's just like everyone's just standing still.
It's literally Hyman just plots himself right in front of the net. Nugent Hopkins kind of floats a little bit. He goes wherever McDavid doesn't go, and then Draisaitl and McDavid kind of just float around. McDavid does his thing. Either hits fucking Barry for a one-timer, hits Draisaitl backdoor somehow. And like last night they scored. They came in on the power play. They came in and it was Nugent Hopkins to Hyman backdoor to Draisaitl for an empty net. Like there's no stopping them, because you got Hyman that's going to bang the puck away in front of the net. You got Nuge that can fucking shoot the puck. You got McDavid who's developing a one-timer, which is just scary. The fact now you got to watch Draisaitl one-timer. Now you got to watch McDavid's one-timer as well. Like, they just find each other.
It's the speed of it all, too.
It's gross, man. Like,
it looks like for the other team, it looks like they like a time slows down. Like, they're like, slow motion. Then McDavid just fucking rips by them. Yeah, sets up dry for a 1T. It's like, oh, that was just disgusting there. Right?
And, like, here's the other crazy thing about that is it's not just the fucking power play 1. Power play 2's coming out and scoring too. I think they got 2 or 3 power play goals as well, which I think their second power play unit might add 2 or 3 minutes of ice time last year. Now they actually have guys that can score on that second line. If they can get 2 power play units going, if Yamamoto can get going, they're gonna have probably the best top 6 in the league, and their power play and their penalty kill are top of the league. If Koskinen, who's off to a fucking hot start right now, if he can continue playing like this, like, Edmonton could be a very fucking deadly team. Well, I don't know if they're quite cup contenders quite yet, but they definitely took a big step forward. From last year. They could be
cup contenders if the refs actually called a penalty that occurs against.
Did you see that play last night? Did you see that play? No. McDavid split the D. Buddy stuck his stick right through McDavid's legs. McDavid opened up, caught his back edge with his fucking foot flying out. Still got by the D right in front of the refs. Not a single call. Like it's like they're like, oh, McDavid's so good he doesn't need penalties called against him. Well, guess what? That's not how the fucking rule book is written. It's not written. This player's too good to have penalties called against him because it's unfair. No. Call the fucking penalties like you're fucking supposed to. Do your fucking job, you useless pieces of shit. I'm so tired, man. Honestly, there were stats on Twitter today. He is 260th in drawn penalties since the beginning of last season. 259 people draw more penalties than him. Explain that to me. The fastest guy in the NHL that drives the puck a lot has the least amount of, or 259 people ahead of him in drawn penalties.
Well, and even in the playoffs, isn't it like he's gone like 3 years in a row and he hasn't drawn one penalty?
Last year they didn't call. Yeah, that was including playoffs. They haven't called a penalty on him. I don't remember the last time in the playoffs, but there wasn't one last year.
That's like, I saw it was like his
power play doesn't need one.
It was like the past like 9 playoff games McDavid's played in. It's like he's drawn 0 calls or something. something ridiculous.
Now, mind
like
you,
that.
he only played 4 games in the playoffs last year. So, I mean, that's a
Could have played
better,
more if
but-
there was actual fucking penalties called, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Don't get me fucking started on that now. You see,
It's
fucking
not
nice
all on
twitching
the
now,
refs
buddy.
now. Like, do the Oilers really need more power plays? Now it's like you're converting 46.2%. You're fine.
I need
You're
a
fine.
75. They need to have a better power play percentage than some of the PKs in this NHL right now. That's what I want. I want a 75% power play percentage.
Just anytime power, like it's like, oh, we're going to PP instant goal. Let's go. You just, you know, you can walk away and like grab yourself a beer and you're gonna come back.
All
the
right.
goal.
So they beat the Canucks 3-2 in a shootout, which was a good game. Then they smashed the Flames 5-2, beat the Ducks 6-5. A little bit of a defensive lap, but that was bound to happen. Then they beat the Coyotes 5-1 on the road. I mean, everybody's beating the Coyotes. It's not much of a shock. But then I would say probably I guess the Flames are a legit team this year. I would say their first real test of the season at this point was playing the Golden Knights, and they won that 5-3. It was back and forth. Edmonton ended up prevailing in the end. It was a good, hard-fought battle. Then they had 5 days off, came back. I feel like they actually outplayed the Flyers. The puck wasn't going. Koskinen had a rough game, and they ended up losing that one 5-3. I think very well could be 8-0 right now. And then they followed that up with a game against the Canucks. They won that 2-1. So the Canucks seem to be, playing pretty strong against the Oilers. I mean, they kind of know how to play them now. They've played them each other so many times after last season. And then last night they played the Kraken, winning that 5-2. But that wasn't a real good game. The first 2 periods, they had 7 shots on goal, but they scored 3. One went off a stick. One went off of Draisaitl's foot and just went in. Kind of a shitty goal. The next one was a nice power play goal. The third goal I don't think was that special. It was a backdoor pass to Keith for a wide open net, and he just kind of handcuffed himself and just happened to get enough of it to go in. So it was just the Cord was having a rough night. He wasn't getting the bounces he needed. And then Seattle made it 3-2. Move forward to the third, 4-2 on a nice play by Shore backdoor to Turris, which was nice to see a fourth line goal. And then Yamamoto got the monkey off his back and buried his first of the season to make it 5-2. But other than the third period, that game could have easily went Seattle's way. So, yeah. And then they got Predators tomorrow, Rangers Friday, and then they're in Detroit to take on the bad boys, or the bullies of hockey, the Red Wings. I'm loving the Red Wings this year, man. They're looking like they're having fun over there. Their record isn't the best, but it's way better than I bet 90% of the hockey world thought the Red Wings were going to be. So those will be some 3 interesting games, and I'm excited to see the Oilers keep dominating the NHL.
Now, how about we get into the only undefeated team left? And it might not be who you think.
Hello?
Is
Yeah, we're
Trevor
still here.
frozen?
No?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was waiting for you
Do
to
you want
finish.
to talk about the Canes there, Alex?
Oh, the Hurricanes. Yes. Sorry, I forgot.
I was like, what are we waiting here for?
I'm waiting for it. I was like, I'm teasing you.
I thought
I was like, who are you
I-
talking about here? Okay. So we got the Canes on a nice and dirty 8-0. Just like, what the fuck is going on with them? They're just tearing up the league. They've beat the Islanders 6-3, Preds 3-2, Habs 4-1, Jackets 5-1, Maple Leafs 4-1, Bruins 3-zip, Blackhawks 6-3, Coyotes 2-1. And one thing I'm noticing, they haven't had a game where they allowed more than 3 goals. And
That was only twice.
it pains me to say it, but I miss Freddie Anderson.
They have 5 goals, 5 games with 1 goal or less.
Yeah, just
allowed.
dirty. And Anderson's been a fucking stud. I doubted him. I was like, he's injured. He's a bum. Because he just sucked for us last year. I was like, I had lost faith. He's like, fuck the Leafs. Thank you for letting me go. Now I'm going to have a career year. Because
No,
again,
this
of
just
course this happens for the Leafs.
This just exposes your back end even more. The fact that he's playing this red hot. on the Canes team that lost their best defenseman, and he's still one of the he is the best goalie in the NHL right now. So this just shows you that Toronto needs defensemen.
Well, that's not news there. That's
that's been
that's
known
not
for
news.
fucking half a
I
decade.
guess that's not news.
It's like I think the last time the Leafs defense was taken seriously is when we had fucking Cabriolet and McCabe.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
that's probably not even wrong.
Even as a fan, I'm just like, who have we had that has been good? I mean, we got Riley. He's not the most perfect D, but he's, I guess, our best D. I guess more of an offensive defenseman, but still our defense.
When Riley and Muzzin are your best defensemen, you got problems.
Yeah, well, and I mean, like the thing is, I like Muzzin and I like Brody, but it's just like we need that $9.5 million D. We need a fucking Adam Fox or we need somebody who's like a McCarr. I don't know. We need somebody who's like a fucking soup, like a franchise.
You don't need more offense. You need more you don't need offense defensemen. You need guys that'll stay back.
I get. Well,
you need like a Drew Doughty kind of guy.
I guess we need somebody. I'm just more saying like on that elite scale of like a top 2 defenseman kind of thing. Like we need somebody to pair up with Morgan Riley. That's not.
You need it.
Like
we need a Darnell Nurse.
We have Dermott playing with fucking Riley right now. Fucking Dermott. So it's
okay. We're supposed to be talking about the Hurricanes. How do we keep getting back on the Leafs?
Because we all like chirping the fucking Leafs, I guess.
I like taking every shot I get.
All right. Let's continue on with the Canes. We've got some note off. Their first line is playing dirty. Aho 10 points, Teravainen 8, Svechnikov 7, and that's in 8 games. So
11 rather.
11. Oh, sorry, Trevor. You have to make a correction on your notes here.
Yes, it did.
Bad, naughty.
I didn't even talk about the Oilers' points totals.
We're running low on time.
It looks like going forward, they're playing Florida on Saturday and Tampa Bay on Tuesday. Oh no, maybe I don't know. Maybe they already played.
And then
Florida.
they've got Chicago on Wednesday. So it's like Chicago, you should be fine with.
Either way, they've been red hot. Anderson's fucking 1.29 goals against average. Holy fuck, what a beast! Again, I'm just gonna go cry a single tear about Anderson, but Canes are looking fucking red hot, boys. Not much else to say. Hopefully, if the Leafs come around, we'll fucking take them down. Again, I hope so. Probably not. We already lost one.
A team that might look to dethrone them, and they might seem a bit hard done by that. They're no longer undefeated, being Florida. So they're 8-0-1. So they beat the Penguins 5-4. They beat the Islanders 5-1. Beat the Lightning 4-1. Beat the Avalanche 4-1. Beat the Flyers 4-2. Beat the Coyotes 5-3. Beat the Bruins once 4-1. And then went to Detroit, won in overtime, and then lost in a shootout to the Bruins after having beat them earlier in that week. It's like they could still very well have been undefeated, but yet the shootout is what's cost them. But it's like
that's brutal.
That's like everyone was going about, Bobrovsky's he's no longer got it no more, guys. It's like he's being paid $10 million, he ain't doing nothing. He's got a 1.81 and a 944 save percentage this year in 6 games, so don't count out that Florida town, because even Knight's doing fairly well with a 195 goals against and a 929 save percentage.
But Bobrovsky's got to play well because his time in the sunshine vacation is over because Spencer Knight is here now, and he's really ready to take those pipes from him. So if Bobrovsky wants to stay in his sunshine state, he's got to keep his shit together. He's getting shipped probably to Minnesota or something. So if he wants to stay where he's happy, he better keep playing the way he's playing.
They've got it pretty tough this week. They've got the Capitals and the Canes, and then have back-to-back with the Rangers and Devils early into next week. It's like maybe the Devils you'll have a little bit of ease with, but that's on a back-to-back night. Like, none of these games are going to come easy for them.
Nope, they got a tough road ahead.
And then they've got a whole bunch of goals. They've got the best goal scorer in the game. It's like, what more can you ask for? You got good goaltending, you got good goal scorers. Why not?
You know, I gotta mention.
I told you guys the Panthers are gonna be fucking nasty this year.
Well, they're definitely living up to the hype, and I gotta say, Bobrovsky too. It's like I guess we should have expected he would have a good year. Before it was like one garbage year, then a good year, garbage year, good year. This time he just, he went 2 bad years before he got back to a Vezina level year. So next year we should expect another bad year from him.
We could see a Florida team in the Cup, and it's not Tampa.
It's possible, yeah.
Could
I
be
mean,
possible.
that would be nice to change it up. But preferably it'd be the Leafs from the Eastern Conference.
Panthers Oilers. What a final.
Panthers, Oilers, no way. It's going to be Panthers, Arizona.
Arizona hasn't even won a game.
Which leads us into our cold start teams to start the season.
Yeah, it's like I hate to just keep dunking on the same team. It's like
It
what's
can't be
there to
helped.
say about the Coyotes right now? It's like you're 0-8.
Well,
It's like even the teams you're losing to, you've lost to the Blue Jackets, you've lost to the Sabres. It's like some of these other teams, yeah, it's your contenders in the Blues, the Oilers, the Islanders, Panthers, Lightning, Capitals, and Hurricanes. But it's like, what?
he got smashed by the Jackets.
Yeah, that's the Jackets. That's like the Jackets aren't going to be contenders this year. You're losing 8-2 in your first game of the year. Like, Jake Gostisbehere's your top point getter right now.
Like, their last 2 games were better, 2-0 to Washington and 2-1 to Carolina, but before that, it was just a disaster.
Yeah, that's like their schedule is like you've got the Flyers, which I saw mark that as a loss. No, the Ducks and Kraken. That's like it's two teams that you can beat. Like you gotta get your first win some way somehow, man.
Oh,
They
my-
came
Like,
close,
oh,
just
yeah,
looking.
yeah,
They had a
yeah.
shootout. They lost to the Sabres in a shootout. That could have been it, damn it, but they fucked up.
The fact that it's not the Sabres we're talking about right now
I
is
know.
amazing. Like, what is even happening with Buffalo right now?
They're fucking, well, maybe it's like, what was it, before the lockout season, they went like 10, didn't they win 10 straight to start the year, and then they just fucking fell off a cliff? That's what I'm anticipating this year. I'm like, all right, they'll
Like-
have a red hot October, and then the garbage the rest of the season.
Like, they're 5-2-1 right now. What the?
Yeah, they got a respectable
actual-
record. They're like one of the better divisions in the Atlantic right now.
Yeah, they're third. They're tied with Tampa.
No one has seen
And
that
they're-
coming like 10 games
Yeah.
into the season almost.
Buffalo for the Cup, boys. Put some money on it right now.
Don't give them
Oh
that
my
advice now.
God.
Let's not go crazy now.
Win $9,000 on a $4 bet.
I know, right? That's why I'm like, the odds are so insane. You could put like $10 on it. Just fucking.
All right, we talked about Arizona long enough. Fuck that team.
Yeah.
Sorry, Biz, but your team's a joke.
They might not even exist there for much longer. All right, back to the Chicago Blackhawks, the garbage organization of the league right now. The kid in the naughty corner. They've had a struggling start, probably in part due to the investigation. I'm assuming that's a bit of a distraction. But obviously yesterday they
It's
got
the hockey gogs.
they had fucking
It's the hockey
Kaner come
gods
back from
punishing
COVID protocol. He lit the fuck out of the Senators. Sorry, Trevor.
That game was awful from the Sens just played plain bad. It's like you look at half of those goals. Why are those even going in? It's like Chicago's third goal. It's literally Brandon Hagel going up the boards. It's like he's just putting it towards the net. It's like no one sees it. It just trickles in. And it's like, what are we doing?
Oh,
How's it feel, Trevor? You're the first one to succumb a loss to the fucking black sheep of the league.
I just want to say thank you, Trevor, because it wasn't the Oilers. Thank you for taking that one.
Yeah, and it wasn't the Leafs. It wasn't the Leafs, thank goodness.
Why couldn't it be? It's like you're up to nothing against them, and then you blow your lead. Like,
That's the thing. Leafs almost did it. They almost were the ones to lose to them, and they thankfully pulled off the comeback. I was like, when we went down 2-0 in that game, I'm like, of course, this is another blowout game, another typical Leafs performance, but we survived that.
Shut up
one.
about the Leafs.
Never. The Leafs are the best team in the NHL.
So Marc-Andre Fleury's struggling with his new team. He should have retired
Fucking
like he
dog
originally wanted
shit.
to. Like, he's probably so mad that he joined this now with all these allegations.
Oh, God.
Chicago looks bad. He wanted to retire. Now he's got a .392 goals against average and an .888 save percentage. Like, that's like
It's just
first
ruining
year
his
coming out of
historic stats.
junior, playing AHL your first time. That's what those numbers are. Like,
It's just, well, I mean, can you blame it completely on him? I think the team in front of him just has been piss poor, but he's not looking too hot. I hope he like. The thing is, I was optimistic. Like when all that stuff happened with Vegas just chipping him off, and I was kind of like, okay, you know, it seemed like he was happy, like with his decision. This the first week he saw his picture with his jersey, and he's all smiling. Now you look at him, and it's just like this man he's lost.
He's seen some stuff.
He's seen some shit. He does not want to be there anymore.
Alrighty. Well, moving forward.
Moving on to the shittiest team in the league.
The poo-poo team. I bet this makes you feel much better, Alex.
It does. At least my team's not doing as bad as them.
Yeah, the Montreal Canadiens are off to an absolute doo-doo start, coming in at 2-8-0, which is atrocious, looking like the Ottawa Senators the years they almost made it to the Cup. Sorry, Trevor. I just had to get a shot in at you.
Okay. I see how it is.
I've been at Alex all podcast.
You both have been roasting me the entire round.
Yeah. So they lost to the Leafs 2-1. Oh, imagine that. Like 6 months ago, if that would have been the last time you guys played each other. Holy fuck. And then lost to the Sabres 5-1, which is an absolute shocker. Then lost 3-1 to the Rangers, 5-0 to the Sharks, which is embarrassing. 4-1 to the Canes, then they beat the Red Wings 6-1. Absolutely shit pumped the Red Wings. Lost to the Kraken 5-1, then beat the Sharks 4-0 or 4-0. Lost to the Kings 5-2, lost to the Ducks 4-2. So they're not even like they're in one, maybe 2 games, because the Ducks game might have been an empty net game. So it looks like they've been in 3 games this entire season. The other ones they've just been blown out of. Which honestly doesn't really surprise me. I said they were going to be a decent team, but when
goals.
Exactly, they have 1-1-1-0-1-6-1-0-2-2. Like other than their 6-goal game, they've scored
a maximum of 2 goals.
8 goals.
Yeah,
they scored 14 goals and 6 of them were in one game.
Yeah,
like they're not.
It's fucking
Caulfield off to 1 assist in 10 games. He's gone down to the minors. I mean, he's only 20.
Did he even get an assist? I don't
think
remember that.
Probably some secondary assist or something pathetic.
Bounced off his ass, went to Anderson. Anderson shot and scored or something.
Which pleases me, as I was telling you, Trevor. Now all the Hab trolls can fuck off and stop sucking Caulfield's cock.
Yeah, but he's fucking 20, man. Like, obviously this shit's
gonna
happen.
I agree. This is the thing. My expectation of him was like, yo, this kid's gonna need some time. And then Habs are like, he's winning the fucking Calder. He's the greatest player to ever play for the Habs. Matthews is shit compared to him. It's just like, fucking relax, boys. Like, the guy's like fucking like 5'8", 20 years old. Like, just chill out a little.
Every single conversation with you ends up talking about some sort of Leaf.
Because the Leafs are the best, man. That's all there is to it.
I'm sick of your shit.
You know what? One thing I got to say is, you know what? The only explanation now for the Habs' run last year and then their poor start this year is they made a deal with the devil, man. They sold themselves. They sold themselves to the devil. They were like, "We will suck."
Are you talking about the draft?
No, like with the Habs.
Or were you talking about last
with the Habs going on that run to the Cup Finals? They were just like, "We will suck ass for the next 5 years. We don't give a shit, but we need to make a Cup run. Please do it for us, Satan." And it was like, all right, fine, granted, go on, have fun.
How about we stop with this?
Obviously, the caveat was that they don't actually win the cup. They got to like make it to the finals, but they didn't win it. And now they're suffering.
I'm getting you committed.
The Dark Lord, insane. The Dark Lord has asked for his.
You're
return.
Talking about the Leafs are good, and now you're on this about a deal with the devil. All right, we're going to his house. We're putting him we're putting him somewhere where he won't harm himself.
This is the most logical explanation, Tyler. Come on, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it makes absolute perfect sense.
Well, yeah, that can mean, come on, like what? You look at the team now, and it's just like, this team made the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, what the fuck? I mean, I guess they don't have Carey Price. Does he make that much of a difference? It's just like, what the fuck happened, like, in the months between these two events? So, I mean, I don't mind it.
Shea Weber happened.
Yeah, Shea Weber's a cripple. Price is
You
off.
lose Price and Weber, and then your young kids don't step up like they need to. Like, that's a lot. Like, I think Suzuki's got 5 assists in 10 games. Hasn't scored. Their leading goal scorer is Druin, which is nice to see Druin having a bounce back year after it's taking time away from the game to help himself,
Yeah.
which was nice to hear him come back and share that story. So I'm happy that he's off to a good start. Now, if the rest of the team, like Hoffman joined late, he's got 4 goals, but the rest of the guys aren't really chipping in. Like Toffoli's cold this year, 1 goal, 2 assists. Who else? Gallagher, 1 goal, 1 assist. Like Petrie's got 1 assist, and normally he's got quite a few points by now. Like, just guys aren't producing. They need to, I don't know, they need to figure something else, or they're going to be the new Buffalo Sabres of the season.
It's like
for
they
sure.
don't have Weber, but they are expected to possibly get Price back soon. It's like it sounds like
God.
it might be this week.
Because I think
where
he's
he
just
might
doing his
return to the
he's doing
team
whatever
at
that
least.
community thing is, right? Whatever that, I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of whatever
it's
it was.
I found out what it actually is. The year's 2025. Montreal Canadiens come to center ice. At center, Shane Wright, Nick Suzuki, and Caulfield on the wings. It's exactly what they're doing. They're tanking, boys, because that top
wouldn't
line is
even
going to
work
be
because
money.
Both Caulfield and Suzuki would have, like, that doesn't work. No, who would play left wing on that line if that were to happen?
Anyone.
Yeah, I don't know.
How does that not make sense? What do you mean?
Because Caulfield's a right winger, you play Suzuki either center or right wing, and you play right center. You don't have a left winger in that bunch.
Well, put
You don't need a left
Right
winger.
on the wing. He's gonna be younger. Suzuki's will have more experience in the draw. But that's the
Are
only.
you talking about not having a left shot? I don't know which way
Whatever.
they all
Put
shoot.
a right-handed on the fucking left side. That's like Ovi's a righty. Fuck it.
Well, I know. Yeah, he plays left wing. I know, like, with Edmonton, they got McDavid centering 2 righties. They got Pugliarvi and Hyman playing with him.
Yeah,
They make it work.
I mean,
I'm
that's
just saying
probably the
they're
plan.
tanking.
And I guess if anything, they were smart in the sense that when they made that Dvorak trade, it was protected picks. So essentially, Habs still get to keep the better of the 2 picks. So if they do get first overall, Habs keep first overall and then give up whatever, I guess, the Canes pick in that case, because it looks like the Canes are fucking going on a run this year. So they kind of saved their asses in that regard. It was initially like, oh, I'm going to go make fun of them. But then I saw they had it protected for that. I guess they learned from the Senators in a sense of, okay, this is what we got to do to make sure that we're getting the top prime pick. As Trevor shakes his head. Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, getting rid of Erik Karlsson, you still won it. I mean, shit, like...
We won that, but there were some trades over the past couple of years, which Ottawa definitely has not won. But
yeah, there was a...
we'll move on
Well, I
from
mean, you
that,
gotta...
'cause
We've all been there, Trevor. Don't you
Dorian's,
worry. We've all
you know
been
what?
there.
You can say about Dorian is maybe he's made a couple mistakes, but he's definitely learned from those mistakes. Like immediately, as soon as he fucked up, he was like, "Oh shit, okay, well I'm not doing that again." And like, if anything, I think he's been pretty good at with his trades in the most recent time,
Like-
just collecting all the prospects and picks that he did.
Here's a trade that I got for you. Eberle for Strome straight up, then Strome for Spooner. Where's Spooner? Not in the NHL anymore. You know where Strome is? Playing top minutes in the Rangers. You know where Eberle is? First line player on the fucking Kraken. So I know a thing or two about bad trades because there was 2 horrible trades right
What
there.
about that
and then.
What about Reinhardt or whatever that you got?
Oh my God! 2 seconds, a first and a second for Griffin Reinhardt, and then they lose him in the expansion draft.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and the
GM right
Islanders
there.
draft fucking Barzell with that first round pick.
And Beauvillier. Beauvillier was their next pick with the next one.
Yeah, it's just
So they got
but who
Beauvillier
knows
and
if the Oilers would have even picked those guys?
that's
the
No,
true, but
what could have been. What could have?
What could
Although
have been?
if they might not have never gotten other guys. I don't know. We'll see. I'm happy with the Oilers right now. I guess I don't really have.
here's
much
the thing.
to
It
complain
seems to
about.
have worked out down the line, right? I mean, you got fucking McDavid, so what else do you need? McDavid and Dry. Even Nuge
Yeah,
is
we gotta
looking
make
like a
David
stud.
and then they're dry. Yeah,
Exactly.
Nuge is up to 11 apples.
Yeah, Nuge is he's having a career year this year. He got that extension. He's like, let me just become a stud.
And Hyman's gonna score 60.
Hey, I don't mind it now that I got him on my fantasy team. I mean, I pretty much picked him like one just because I'm like, Hyman, my boy. But I'm like, you know what? This guy's probably just going to light shit up playing with McDavid. I was like, why not take a gamble on him? And he's been pretty much every game he gets at least 1 point, if not more. So I ain't complaining.
If Yamamoto gets going, top six is gross. Draisaitl, McDavid, Nuge, Puljujarvi, Hyman, and Yamamoto. Like, how do you line match those guys if you got 2 top 6 lines going? Well, realistically, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and if Yamamoto gets going, that could be a number one on probably half the teams in the NHL.
Well, that's going to do it for us today.
Go Oilers, go.
Yeah, that was a good show, boys. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good shit. And we'll catch you on the next Bottom 6 podcast.